Hey, and welcome guys to another tutorial. Now today we are going to deal with doing vehicles. Our interaction system is prepared to do things like this, and I just wanted to bring this along because you can interact with boxes and doors, right? But what about vehicles? Well, I have our nice little Unity vehicle here, which is a prime example of what else can we interact with. So I'm going to get in here and I'm going to get inside the vehicle, not by animation or anything like that, just hop right inside of it, and now I can control the vehicle. Right? And then I need to get out of it, right? And there we are. I get out. That's fine. And that's the whole point of it, right? Our interaction system doesn't care about some of this other garbage. It cares that we are wanting to do something. Boom! I can never get enough of that. It's kind of heavy on the physics, but why not, right? Who cares? Who cares? Now, we can do explosive cars and everything else like that later on, but we need Unity to go, hey, I want to drive this, right? The car stops, and like I said, we can do doors too. Door goes up, door goes down, and this is all with our interaction system. I mean, our interaction system is so abstract, it only cares that we're doing something, okay? And then the script that we use for doors or cars or something else takes care of all that other garbage logic. Like, do we need a key card? Do we need keys to the car? Do we need a special code that pops stuff on the screen? We can write anything we want into the actual script. So, like before, we're going to have to make us a script. But the thing about it, we had to make some changes to our system in several areas to accommodate this. Not super rough, but this may be another long video, and I don't exactly see that it's not going to be 2 parts. Unless I go really, really quick, then it's like half buttheadish explained, and that's not really my style. So, in our interaction system, the first thing that we need to do is get this. Well, this is another video, or maybe it's already out yet. It's quite possible it's already out yet, but I changed up this menu thing. I no longer have the controller in here. We do it by a spawn point, which the video might already be out. I'm not sure. It could be. I don't know. It's possible. But anyway, for our vehicle, we are using Unity's version, right? And we have to have Unity's car controller disabled and the audio disabled. If we don't have the audio disabled, it will run automatically when the game starts up, and it's kind of sucky. Because, you know, I mean, you hear it everywhere that you go, and that's kind of dumb, right? And our car here doesn't. It's got a few extra things. We added a camera. It can have camera.mean, it doesn't matter. But it also has to have an audio listener. And I believe that's all the car actually needs. Yeah, besides us editing the script. Now this is a modified version of Unity's already script. So, without further ado, let's look at some code for this. Because that's what we ultimately want, right? You don't want to hear me babble about something that you can't create yet because you don't know how, or you just don't realize it. Now the car controller has to inherit from active act, okay? That's our interaction system base class, which is also a mono behavior. Okay? Slot base, act, has all these things right in here that you can overwrite and do all kinds of stuff. But the most important one right here is this one. This past the action. Okay? Because that's what we're doing. We're passing it us. Okay? So in our car controller script, we need a few things. Okay? We need to make this override function in here and pass it a game object, right? Which, if you remember our slot class, it passes this game object, okay? Us. The entire us. Okay? And what this does is it gives us the ability to go and do everything that we need to do. So we set the parent to the car in itself, right? We have it set to the car, and then we take our game object and we disable it, okay? And then we make the player right here for caching reasons. We don't exactly have to have this in the inspector, okay? That doesn't have to be in the inspector because we set it here. Now this dot enabled equals true. Now remember when I said the car controller, this script starts off disabled? This is why. When we do our array cast and we hit this object, we get the component, okay? So we have access to it. And we're not doing it every single frame, but we're doing it in such a way that I've already explained it in the previous video about the interactions with triggers and thingies, okay? So that's explained in that video. If you don't realize what it does, then please go watch that, because it's going to explain it in much better detail. And this .sound .enabled equals true. We turn the sound script on, which is for this car audio, and we don't use this. Okay, we enable the audio, and then we do a camera.transform.gameObject.setActive. See, this is a camera that's set up to the car. Okay. Now we do this so that we don't have two cameras going, and you know we need to be able to see where we're driving and stuff. Now this is just the basic version. But, you know, this is the function that you would be calling and then doing all your actions later. Okay, now this is a private thingy, and we're just doing everything in reverse. Okay, except we're calling this .sound.stop sound. Now this was a private function that was in the sound class that Unity made, but I made it a public function to disable the sound of the vehicle, which I don't believe we have that open, do we? Let's open that up and I'll show you what I did. Okay, see this? This was a private function. Okay, I just made it public. That's it. That's all I did. That's the only modification that I did to that script. This is car audio. It's got a thing for stop sound, and that's all we did. Okay? That's it. Alright, and then this invoke, fix moving, and it invokes after 0.1 seconds. I had to put this in an invoke because the car would keep drifting and keep drifting and drifting, and it wouldn't stop. And the reason has to do with when it's enabled and when it's disabled, things like that. An invoke statement, even if the script is disabled, like let's say you disable the script, if that invoke is already called up, like it's being, hey, you invoke this, But before you invoke, we disable the script. If this was a regular thing, like just call fixed moving, like this, it won't be called. Okay, it just doesn't work. All right, so if you want something after you disable the script to work, use an invoke. Like let's say you want to destroy your dead body, okay, but you want an animation to play, okay, so you'd be like anim.play, right, and you would do your thing, and it'd be this play thingy, right? Okay, just as an example. But you want the full animation to play, but you also want to kill something after. Alright? So you would use an invoke statement, and what this will do is it will destroy it after X amount of seconds. And you don't have to have an update or nothing else. The invoke statement gives you a time. This, you give it the function and how many seconds afterwards. Okay? And that's an invoke by itself. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Alright? You can use it for animations, you can use it for a lot of things. There's even different variances of it, like invoke repeating and things, but if you guys don't know about that kind of stuff, then I suggest you look at the documents for invoke and invoke repeating. It may be something that you want to check out to get rid of some updates and stuff like that. Because it's a neat trick to disable this script and have nothing running, but still have functions being called because of an invoking statement. Okay? And I do car.move0001. This last one is for the handbrake. Okay? Handbrake. It tells it the car to stop. Okay? And this is a basic Unity function. This is already in here. But this is not. Okay? I do input.getKeyDown so we can do a key code up here. You don't have to do this. You can put input.get button down and then, do the string based thing like this is up here except a get button down. But I want the key code because I can change it in the inspector. It's really nice and user friendly in the inspector, and that's the reason why I use it. And we just call the get out of driver function, which is, this. And when you do your player, don't do position, okay? Player.transform.position, because what will happen is the player won't get out of right next to your car where the transform is. Your get out one, okay, which is just a regular transform, okay? It's a get out position, it's an empty game object, no collider, no nothing. It does absolutely nothing. It's like a regular empty game object. It does nothing whatsoever, except give you a place where you can put it. Okay, you can put it 100 miles away. Actually, let's just show you that. It would probably be easier just to show you. Okay, so in the scene, we'll get the scheme thing here, and okay, and here's the vehicle. All right, and where is my get out object? Right here. Okay, this is my get out object. I can have this 50 million miles away, here, it doesn't matter. That's where the transform is, my player is going to be when he gets out of the vehicle. Okay, and this is just a regular game object, nothing special about it or anything, but it makes it very easy to manipulate where my player can be, right? It gives it a position to go into. Now, it doesn't check to make sure that there's collision or, it's not through the floor, or if you're on a hill, that kind of stuff you're gonna have to write logic to prevent, you know, to make sure that it's clear and stuff. But it's not very hard, you know, just use some form of extra code. But the reason why I did it this way is I don't want an on. A lot of solutions will have this transform to an on collision enter, and then you know you have issues with now you got to have an update to check when the button's pressed and stuff like that. No, 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 no. Just use our interaction system a whole lot better, and you can use it for anything. Nah, don't do that on collision thing and everything else, because the really bad thing is if you put a box collider here and put it as trigger and you check for collisions for the player and stuff, well, guess what? Every single time you pass like a box like this, or you go into the you know, right next to a building or something and hit it, every single time that collides with something, it's just pulling up the physics engine, and that sucks. I mean, that really sucks. Alright? It just sucks, especially if you got like some low-end PC and you want to target like low-end people, so that way you know like everybody can get really good frame rates and stuff. Yeah, you're just gonna have to do some magic about it. I'm not gonna lie. So in our UI class that we have, we're gonna go into this script too. Okay, this debugger thing, I need to get that turned off. Alright. So let's go into this. Alright. So in our system, I made some changes. Don't know if you've seen them, but all I did was, actually, you probably have to see these. Right. Actually, let's move on from that. I'll make sure the video is in here with the changes for it. If the changes aren't in it, I'll make sure, because these are for spawning. This is the thing that you actually need right here. In my player prefab is not active in hierarchy or term. And player prefab is null. Okay? And this, yeah, I'm gonna make sure the video's up for this, because there's some complicated stuff in there that deals with our weapon managing system and stuff, because I overhauled it and I don't want it to be too complex and make this video like 60 hours long or something, because I know you guys don't like it when the video is really long. But this isn't too... Actually, let's give it a try, okay? We got a public spawn point, which, you know, is just an empty game object for a pointer, you know, just like our get out position. Now we have this property here, okay, which returns another private variable, okay? And then we got a setter. Instantiate the value, okay, then does the targeting stuff. Now we have another function, okay, temp prefab.getComponent.weaponManager. And what this does is called weapon. It tells it what weapon and what slot to go in. So this is the first slot, and then this is the weapon that we want to instantiate into that slot. And that's pretty simple. Now we take this private variable and we make it our temp prefab, okay? Alright. And this is mostly because I want to be able to change different prefabs before we enter the level, okay? Like, let's say we have different characters, like a heavy weapon, you know, or a sniper class or anything like that. Before we load this level, we want to tell our UI managing class, hey, spawn this player and all the other logic, right? Because that's what we need, alright? Now, this private is mostly for the comparison, because we gotta see if it's null or the hierarchy, you know, if it's disabled. Because when we're in the vehicle, we have this disabled, okay? We have our player disabled, all right? So that he doesn't run all of his functions and all that. But if you remember, in this one, we keep passing stuff around that goes to the player. And we don't need this interaction stuff to happen because we're inside of a vehicle. There's absolutely no reason to have this run. So all this code right here gets skipped. There's no interactions with stuff, all right? Which we can change later or vice versa, and this function right here is going to be changing because we don't need this to be static anymore or anything, because we're going to have it in our start function, which I could probably change right now, but I don't think we have a start function, and I don't think I could do that on enable, right? Yeah, I'll have to research that because I'm pretty sure I don't need. Yeah, I'm definitely going to research that song. So, we went over this, right? We went over the sound. We went over the UI stuff, right? Not something that I would really want in this video, but you should be able to get what I'm doing right here. This is a simple check for nulls because my player isn't spawned in yet, which is pretty easy to spot. So let's go back into Unity and see what this looks like in the inspector, okay? Now, in the inspector, we're doing a prefab, okay? We're taking and putting this prefab in here. This will not be the case later on. We will have a class, a script that will, when this level gets loaded, it will already exist, and this variable will be pushed to this class, okay? Like, let's say you go into main menu system. There's going to be a game object that holds all the information that we need to go into the levels, like what level we're going into, what player name it is, what pictures, what weapons. You know, these are the things that will make this a lot more versatile than other kits that I've seen online, which, you know, they're okay, but who wants a character that they all look the same and they all use the same weapons and they all have the same abilities? They pretty much are all the same. We designed ours so that we have an ability system so that you can limit people, you can make other people really bad at shooting with certain guns. You can do a lot of things that other kits won't allow unless you put it in the prefab and save this and some other nonsense. But the goal of this one is this light gunner right here. When we do this class right here, we are going to be instantiating the body and parenting in there, so we can actually have any model we want and different gun looks, anything that we want. It's going to be awesome, and trust me, you guys will love it. But I think this is pretty much it for now. You know, I know this car controller ain't the greatest, okay? I will admit to it. It's not the best. But the thing about it is, and I want to push this along like this, is everyone has their own car controller, okay? From, you know, maybe you like somebody else's car controller that they designed and other things, but you don't like their character controller. Whee! Okay? And, you know, here's the whole point, is I want want you to be able to just program something into a controller that you like, okay? Because you don't have to use Unity's version of this. You don't have to use this one. You can use any car controller you want. The point is you to be able to know how to pass this in with this type of interaction system so that you can use realistic car controller. Then there's all kinds of them. Or maybe you made your own. And that's fine. You just have to, you know, the goal of it in this video is to show you how to program it into a kit like this to do what you want. You want to get in the vehicle. You want to leave. That's fine. That's what you want. You don't want me to do a car controller because you probably scratch it out anyway or throw it away. I mean, why would I want to create a car controller and do all that work that takes a long time? I'm not going to lie. It takes a long time. And then do adjustments, and then I have to make like 3 or 4 30-minute videos showing you guys how to do all that stuff, and you're not even going to watch it probably anyway. So it's kind of like, hey, you know, there's Unities, there's Realistics, then there's a whole bunch of them. You can just go right on the asset store and probably find 5 of them right off the bat. But yeah, I hope you liked the video and it helped you out in a way. So, you know, here's the thing. This is Wardon, over and out. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope to get some more videos out pretty soon on how I changed the controller. Because if you notice, there's only one script here. Okay, but I still have everything else. Yeah, that's what's coming up, and it's going to be a long video too. So be ready, guys. It'll probably be like a 5 or 6 part video. No kidding. It's going to be long. But I have a funny feeling you're going to like it. Okay? Because you only have to make one script per different kinds of characters. Okay? Like, let's say you got a rabbit, a dinosaur, a candy cane, and they all have different abilities. All you have to do is make one script for it. It's going to be nice. Trust me. But this is Wardon, over and out. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace.